You know what? Screw it. I've been fiddling with the settings for the past 20 minutes. Don't know how to get it to work. So I'm just going to record this first with no edit. So it's pretty much like the stream. It still feels like a stream, but it's not really a stream. So if you have any comments, drop them in the comment section below so I can improve. Obviously, I'm using a shitty camera. It's not that expensive. So pardon the picture quality. But if you are watching this, you probably saw my tweet earlier where I said I'm going to talk about E3 today. So unlike in the past few years where E3 season means having to fly across the Pacific just to get bonked out and tired in Los Angeles to cover video game stuff, I'm not flying there this year. It's quite obvious, duh. But does not stop me from talking about what to expect at E3 based on what we know, what we've heard, and what we expect. So there are a lot of stuff to talk about. So I'm just going to be very, very direct, very, very concise, hopefully, because I have the tendency to ramble right now, like now. So I'm going to start with the console boys first, and then we'll just go down the list of stories. And then if I miss out something, again, comment sections down below or just tweet me. And if there are some facts that just kind of went askew, I apologize first, right? Because it's late, it's already almost 10, it's time for my Overwatch, but I wanted to make a video for you guys. So first of all is I'm going to start with Xbox. Our Xbox guys. I have my notes here. So obviously we would be expecting more about Project Scorpio. Something brand new, probably the price. We kind of knew the specs last year, but it was very vague. So expect to see Project Scorpio highlight what Xbox is all about in 2017 and going forward. Ignore that sound, that's the cat playing. Alright, along with Project Scorpio, expect Microsoft to put more emphasis on Windows 10. It's the direction of pushing, the Xbox One with the Windows 10, and this year will be no different. That's going to be the main tone of Microsoft. It's good that they've timed it in such a way that they'll probably have like a day, 24 hours at least, before the next big news coming from Sony. So they will at least have more than just a mere 6 to 10 hour window of dominating the news. As well, it avoids people from comparing each other. I expect to hear something from the new Halo game. We might not get a release date, but you'll probably see a cinematic trailer. You'll probably see maybe a snippet. They'll probably say, oh, this is an actual footage, bring you back into Halo 6. Last year's Halo Guardians was pretty disappointing. Many people didn't like the storyline. They felt the story should focus more on Master Chief, which they didn't, and hopefully they're just gonna go back. It's all about Master Chief. To be honest, I'm a big Halo fan. I didn't even finish it. I started maybe in the first 2-3 hours and I just got turned off. The next one they're gonna talk about is basically console exclusives. We had a bad story last year about what's that game by Platinum, the one with the dragon with those stupid headsets. Scalebound. Scalebound was highly anticipated and then they canned it. That sucks. But expect Microsoft to come out swinging with fresh IPs, hopefully, because they would not can it if they're not confident with other titles. So expect these new titles to be available on Windows 10 as well. Some Xbox fans might be like, what the hell, man? I want exclusives. But that's the focus of Microsoft. They want to sell on both ends. Expect to see Sea of Thieves. We had a lot of them last year about basically playing a crew of friggin' ship. I mean, if you just saw Pirates of the Caribbean, which I haven't, you would understand it's kind of fun being part of a crew, working together with your friends. Although I suspect and I feel it would be good for them to focus, to push more on the VR angle for this, because I thought it would be cool to have 4 or 5 of your mates doing different things but coordinating to make sure your ship don't sink. I think it has a very, very big potential, especially with the VR aspect, but who knows, we'll see. Other titles, I think we're gonna get more Cuphead. I think Cuphead came out like 2 years ago. I have no idea why it's not out yet. I mean, it's not graphically mind-blowing compared to other games that was shown around the same time but it's already released. So expect to get some solid news about Cuphead. Hopefully, probably out by this year. I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna be out in August even. So that's pretty much Xbox. I feel apart from that, you might get some stuff from EA or some console exclusive deals, probably with. I'm not sure where Call of Duty is gonna be at, but my bet was on it's gonna be on PS4. But any other games that's pretty much gonna be available on other consoles anyway. But we were strictly talking about Xbox exclusives. Okay, now moving on to PlayStation. So a lot might say PlayStation is showing quite a weak lineup this year. I think half true there, because if you look back, you'll realize a lot of stuff. If you want to space them month by month, they have enough titles to dominate the console scene until the end of 2017 and even early 2018. I'll begin with Spider-Man the game. We saw that I think 2 years back. I forgot again. Probably 2 years back. I saw it right in the hall, and it was great. It was really really awesome. And with this new reboot of a new Spider-Man, the movie comes out in July 7th. So I think it's just only logical for them to release pretty much on the same day or even the same week leading up to it. They are well known to release, Marvel titles to release concurrently with some big movies, so it's a no-brainer to release it in July because we've waited for it so long, and I think I would love to see it perform on the Pro. Speaking of, last year I saw this game. It's called Days Gone. I don't know whether you heard about it, but it's pretty much a game of The Walking Dead, obviously hordes and hordes of zombies. If you remember that trailer where you have probably thousands of zombies, just barreling at you, that's it. It's just a combination, pretty much, The Walking Dead / the crafting bits of Far Cry, the exploration bits of probably maybe the size of The Division. I'm not sure, but it's pretty much that. It's basically a survival game with hordes of zombies, bullet sponges, a lot of crafting, a lot of there's some like heavy narration at the back of it. We are not sure what happened because it's basically a guy on a bike coming to a farm and just triggering a horde of zombies to go after him. I think it would be a sleeper hit. It might be interesting. I was actually more excited about that compared to Horizon Zero Dawn. And then they were announced around the same time, but Horizon Zero Dawn was released much earlier. So I'm expecting it to come out probably around October, because October seems like a good month for The Walking Dead. Do come back to me on the comment section. When is the new season of The Walking Dead coming out? Because I lost track of it. Next one is Uncharted Lost Legacy. I don't think it's going to be much different in terms of graphic quality compared to Uncharted 4. It is pretty much like an expansion of the latest Uncharted game. So I'm putting this in September. We're going to see a lot of gameplay. We're going to get a lot of info about probably an updated of the multiplayer for Uncharted. But you will get, I'm pretty sure you're going to get it this year. If you're waiting for your Uncharted fix, no, this will be it. Another big one would be The Last of Us 2. This one is a fun thing because a lot of people are highly anticipated. This is highly anticipated. Everyone's anticipating this to come out. Naughty Dog never, touch wood, they never fail to deliver. It was released. It was announced December last year. So if you remember, The Last of Us was announced in December 2011, and then it was released in June 2013. Bear in mind, it was a brand new IP. And I'm guessing the sequel would be out. It's going to take a much shorter time for The Last of Us 2 to come out. And I'm being very, very optimistic with it. And I'm thinking it should be out probably this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we have it by mid-October. It would be fun to see what's up with Ellie. We'll probably get more info on her, obviously. You're going to get a lot more storyline, probably something about Joel. I'm not sure. I'm not very positive about what's happening with Joel, but pretty confident. I don't think Sony would want to leave it too long before they release it, because the momentum can only go on for so long, and I feel 2017 is just right for the picking for Sony. If they release this in October, they pretty much have the second part of 2017 covered for them. Going next is God of War. Apart from that short skit that we saw last year of him battling, I forgot what that looks like, a Taurus or whatever. We should be getting it this year. I think the release of the Pro was done, probably subtly, but they want to make sure that a device that can really show what the game is about is out there. So I'm confident about God of War as well. VR, since we already have the PSVR, probably bought it yourself, I'm thinking Sony is going to focus more on in-house as well as indie developers, games, really interesting titles to come out. There were more misses than hits for the VR titles in the past year. I feel with the price of the VR, it should be good. I think they sold like 1 million units already, which is very encouraging. But I felt the title didn't really live up to the hype. But there's still so much room because it's only a year. It's not even a year into the market. So fingers crossed, we'll get a lot of interesting VR titles. And these titles should hit the market relatively soon. Because I feel that Sony probably has been saving all of these titles only to unveil them at E3. So there you go. Next one would be Gran Turismo Sport. We have the beta recently, so it's a no-brainer. Unless something really catastrophic happened recently from the beta, bad servers or whatnot, I'm pretty sure we're going to see Gran Turismo Sport out this year. It'd be very big surprise if they hold it back until 2018. Detroit Become Human. I don't know what to make of it. I attended one of the presentations, and it has interesting narrative. What if it's like a web of possibilities on how you react to the NPCs around you will have very adverse effects on the main ending, which is really interesting. But then again, is this just an illusion that at the end of the day everything is back on rails? But it's a very interesting premise. So not much has been said about Detroit Become Human. So this E3 is going to be something. They're probably going to wait it until Christmas. But if they don't come out this year, I don't think we have to wait for another E3 for it to come out, because it's either now or never. If I didn't mention it right now, you would have forgotten about it anyway. Maybe not. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the big one of all, when it comes to Sony PlayStation stuff, Death Stranding. Well, it's not actually. There's another one. I'll talk about the other one after this. But Death Stranding. This is a Kojima game. And he's probably going to make you wait for another 2-3 years before he actually releases something substantial. Even something like Ground Zeroes, even like a paid beta, what he did with Metal Gear Solid. We don't know. I'm quite disappointed what he did. Last year he's been teasing you. He's been teasing all the fans. With pointless. Okay, fine. Guillermo del Toro is in it. Fine. Mads Mikkelsen is in it. Show us some friggin' gameplay. Alright, we don't need to see cinematic trailers anymore. We want to know what the game is all about. So then again, this is a master teaser. This is Kojima. And if he kind of sold us with the elaborate storyline, or maybe pretty much simplistic, but he just spent countless hours to watch stupid cinematic or just cutscenes. Death Stranding might be a sleeper. Not a sleeper hit. It might be a big home run or a complete strikeout for Kojima, because he's been pushing, he's been promoting, and I think I've seen more stories of him taking pictures with his mates than actually talking about producing the game. I think last week was filled with stories of them transporting the Luden's statue to the Los Angeles office, if I'm not mistaken. And that was something more about the game, dude. I want to see something. I don't know what Death Stranding is all about. I don't understand what the fuck is Death Stranding anyway. But show us something. Show us something. So if you want to ask me when I think it's going to come out, 2019 is the earliest date. Sorry to be very, very blunt, but this is Hideo Kojima we're talking about. And there's no way, well, I wouldn't put myself out there, but I have absolutely zero confidence that the game is going to come out in 2017, let alone 2018. 2019 is going to be the year, and it's probably going to come out November that year. Hit me back after E3, we'll talk about that. So that's about Sony PlayStation. But then again, another one I want to touch about is you may not hear anything about Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy because it's pretty much a shitstorm over there. So I don't think we're gonna hear anything about it. And we're probably gonna hear a bit. I'm not sure whether Destiny is gonna appear on the Xbox conference or the Sony conference, but I'm gonna talk about it later on. All right. I'm gonna move on to Nintendo right now. So we heard the news today. There's no Pokemon for Switch. The whole thing's gonna go to the DS anyway. It's kind of pointless. But that's a logical decision. It's like, why would you want to kill off your golden goose, which is the DS, when Switch is still very, very new? You're gonna get Pokemon Tournament on Switch anyway. I have a Switch. If I have Pokemon Tournament on it, I have no friends to play it with. So what Nintendo really, really need to do this year is to tell people we have games for Switch. They are not just ported, remastered games. They are actually proper games. We'll probably get more news about Super Mario Odyssey. People on the show floor will be able to play it, but I don't think we're gonna be able to get any release date. Maybe next year, but that's about it. I don't think they are that close to releasing Mario Odyssey. They will make us wait. They'll make us wait, and they'll probably wait until 2018 after E3 to reveal the full extent of the release stories. But you'll get the playable demo on the floor. Sorry, kind of guess it. New Zelda stuff. Breath of the Wild was a console seller, a system seller for the Switch, and why don't they milk it? And obviously, there's gonna come. They're gonna get some more DLCs. It's gonna be probably for Breath of the Wild plus DLCs, stories, expansions, whatnot. They're gonna milk that game dry because there's so much space for you to explore. There's so much potential, even after the end game. Without giving you any spoilers, there is so many things that can be done and so much potential with the game, even after 200 hours in. So you're gonna get a lot of that. Splatoon 2, we're gonna get a release date, of course. Then again, depending on the recent beta that they had, it's all beta dependent. If they're confident, they're happy with what the feedback is, you're gonna get it sooner. Could be as early as September, in time for Tokyo Game Show. I feel most of the Nintendo titles will be saved for at least until Gamescom, just before Tokyo Game Show, to build maximum hype. Obviously, they know that they rule back home, so why kill the momentum? Another one would be ARMS. They had the beta recently, to surprisingly positive reviews from a lot of people. So you might get some stories on that. You might get the release date, new characters, bundles even. Obviously, there's going to be a bundle. Speaking of the Switch, Joy-Con colors, probably going to unveil a bazillion color options. Not that you're going to buy it. It's still very expensive up here. New UI, some of the older games, portable, playable on the Switch. I don't think they're going to announce any DS games that's coming to the Switch. Even if they are, it's going to be a totally refreshed version. Probably Animal Crossing on the Switch, maybe. But they will not cannibalize their own title, which is their own brand, which is the DS, because they just released the 2DS XL recently. Why would they shoot their own foot? Which answers the whole reason why don't you have a Pokemon on Switch? Why would they want to stop you? How many people own the Switch? How many people own the DS? It's basic math. They're going to talk about FIFA on Switch, which is quite disappointing because it is a watered down version of the game compared to the PS4 and Xbox One and PC. Obviously, you won't get the full version, although you'll be paying probably close to full price of a PS4 game, which is quite disappointing. So then again, if you want a sports game, you'll have to buy it. So I'm not very excited about it. You won't be getting the whole full experience, and it kind of beats the purpose. It's supposed to be, there should not be any difference between the Switch and the PS4 because they are selling it as a home console. Don't forget. We're probably gonna get something on Smash Bros. I'm not a Smash Bros fan. Some of you maybe are, but I can't give two shits about it. But it's gonna come out and people will go wild about it. So it sells. It sells, and why won't they push it? Because it's for the Switch. In my note, I said a number of old DS titles are gonna get the Switch treatment, which is pretty much self-explanatory. And then I'm gonna talk about Bethesda as well. You're probably gonna get the release date for Skyrim on the Switch, which I don't know. Maybe that's the next big title to must have if you have the Switch, I guess. Apart from Mario Kart and Zelda. Then again, that's a game that's probably 7-8 years old. So you might want to consider, if you're planning to get the Switch, get a second-hand one, or really think if you want to get that console. You could get PlayStation 4 much cheaper than that. The PS4 is going for 1,200 and it's sub 1,300. The gold version was released today, was announced today. Go for that, better. Now moving to the big boys, the publishers. Starting with EA, it's quite obvious. FIFA 18. Cristiano Ronaldo is on the cover. Great. Cats just ran between my legs. Great. You might not give two shits about Madden NFL 18, but it's still one of the biggest selling titles for them. NBA Live 18 is still going to be released. I'm not sure how long are they going to push with this title because NBA 2K series has been slaying them on the NBA front, but I guess they still have their players. Recently unveiled Need for Speed Payback. It's gonna get massive push. I think it's gonna be, they're gonna close the EA presentation with Need for Speed. New gameplay. What else? Fast cars, Fast and Furious. Probably, I don't know, new license or whatnot. I haven't been keeping track of the latest Need for Speed games because I just can't give a shit. Because to me, the best Need for Speed game is Need for Speed Underground 2. If you disagree, you don't know racing games. Okay, as when I said they're going to close it with Need for Speed, they're going to open the EA thing with Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's the biggest title they have. It's Star Wars years, Episode 8. Game is releasing in November. What better way to start it, to get people hyped up? They may use the same style, the same trailer perhaps, in either Sony or Xbox. My bet is on Sony. We know the storyline, we know the single player. I still have a suspicion that the single player is going to be limited to probably 4 to 5 hours, something like Titanfall 2. And the core experience is still going to be multiplayer. But you're probably going to get new modes, you're probably going to get new troops, new characters. That's not being unveiled. We saw Yoda. We know Yoda is going to be playable, but actual Yoda gameplay, we're going to get that. None of this boring character like Rey or Kylo Ren, whatever. No, you're going to get those really weird, interesting characters that you wouldn't even believe that you could use them. Probably Yoda. You're probably going to get Chewbacca. I won't be surprised if we see some classic Jedi's like Ki-Adi-Mundi or even like Ayla Secura. We might even get them in that. And I would love to see if they actually included some characters from Rebels, which is only natural. If they didn't, it might be a massive disappointment. Moving on to Bethesda, I've mentioned already about Switch, Skyrim on Switch, so I'm not going to talk about that. But the VR titles, the older titles like Quake, Fallout, Doom, probably going to get the VR treatment. That's going to be the main focus. I guess that's pretty much in the list of the main boys. Other games that I would like to talk about would be Call of Duty World War II. Again, someone's going to shout RPG or grenade or whatever. That's how Call of Duty games normally start. The game commences. Obviously, it's going to be reliving Band of Brothers, although you're not playing as the one who first. Storyline's gonna be, I don't know, I have high hopes for Call of Duty World War II. The queue is gonna be super long. I don't know, this is one of the biggest titles coming out of E3. You could say whatever you want about Call of Duty titles and Battlefield titles, but they sell. these games have tons of players. We're gonna get a lot of new modes for World War II World War II vehicles and everything. It's basically them trying to go one up with Battlefield 1. High hopes. And obviously the big one, also from Activision, is going to be Destiny 2. Again, I think this time around, probably it's still going to be, even though it's going to be cross-platform and whatnot, but Sony is going to be hosting it. And we pretty much know what Destiny is all about already. Destiny 2 is all about. We had a big reveal recently. But more info, I'm probably going to get a release date. I don't think Activision is going to wait too long. But then again, Call of Duty is probably going to be released around September or October. So they would not want to cannibalize themselves by releasing Destiny within the same window. So either or, one will come before the other, but not within the month or two of each other. So I rather say I'll pick one in October and another one in December to hit the Christmas crowd. Although releasing it after November, when Battlefront 2 is going to be out, it's going to take massive balls to try to go head on with that. Because as much as people complain about Battlefront 1, I mean the one that was released a couple years back, as being shitty or as being, underwhelming, people still buy it because it's freaking Star Wars. It was freaking Star Wars year. It's the flavor of the year, and it's the same thing this year. So that's all we have today for E3. I'll be probably be recording another one after all of these conferences have done it, and then probably do a self-check whether how many points I hit right or how many of them I hit totally wrong. If you have any suggestions on how I could improve this thing, just drop a line, comment section below. As said at the start of the video. You can find me on Twitter. It's my name anyway. If you're watching this, you probably follow me already. It's kind of pointless, but appreciate the share, appreciate the RT, and see you guys next time.